We're here.
I think it's
time.
hey.
Hey. See, I never know what to say anymore because...
You can say hey. It's become like a thing. Say it.
All right. Hey.
Welcome. It's good to be back with you again this morning.
Give us a quick shout out. Let us know where you're listening in from. We always love to see all the cities. Man, we've been to Spain, we've been to France, we've been to Germany.
Yeah, we got some Germany in there on us the other day.
That was pretty
Good
cool.
stuff.
Europe, the islands, and then we've got places like, really foreign, like Missouri and Colorado and all kinds of fun places. So give us a quick shout out. Let us know where you're listening in from, and be sure to start your watch party. And bless those that you care about. Some couples who may need to rekindle their love, because today we're going to share 5 ways to rekindle your love for one another.
I think some of y'all probably need some love rekindling right now. You've been all cooped up together, and there's been a certain sense of maybe uncertainty, or who knows what's going on in your life. But hey, who doesn't always need a little bit of rekindling of some love?
Yeah.
I need some rekindling of some love, baby.
Yeah. It's funny. We've been talking to a lot of different couples. Some are really thriving in this environment. Some are struggling a little bit more. But the one thing that every single person, whether you are at the top of your game or whether maybe you are struggling just a little bit,
Getting your butt kicked.
If we want to have different results, we have to do something different. And the thing that even this morning I was talking with a dear lady, and what I realized is that sometimes we just let chaos take us over, and the enemy wants to cause us to stay in this place of hurriedness and scurriedness, and there's always another issue, there's always another problem. But as we share all the time, that the problem with problem-focused thinking is that once you solve one problem, there's always another one that's going to rear its ugly head and try to steal our attention and take away our joy.
Yeah, it doesn't take us to where we want to go. Again, if we become what we think about, if we gravitate towards what we contemplate, if what we feed grows and what we starve dies, then it's really important for us to, again, stop. And you hear us say this quite often. You got to stop and take inventory of your thoughts. What are you thinking about? Is what you're thinking about what you want more of? That's the problem with problem-focused thinking. And there is always a good, justifiable reason for you not to move forward. There's always a good justifiable, listen to me what I'm telling you, I'm validating all those things that are in your mind that are holding you back, but at the same time I'm telling you what good is that doing you. If it's not moving you in the direction that you want to go, then you need to change what it is that you're thinking about, which is why we often encourage couples and just people in general, our friends and family and such, to take inventory of your thoughts and ask yourself, is what I'm thinking, is what I'm pondering, are the problems that I'm trying to solve moving me closer to where it is that I want to be in my life, in my finances, in my relationship, in my parenting, in my, all those different things, right? And so it's important that we begin to morph that a little bit. And so this morning we want to talk about just 5 quick bullet points of things that you can begin to do right now to begin to enhance and rekindle love in your relationships. By the way, if you're not married, it's not that this is impertinent to you. We all have relationships, whether they're work relationships with people in our community, people in our church, people that we're hanging with, people at work. You might be a single parent,
relationship with your kids too.
Exactly, all the way around. But obviously, we're focusing primarily on what it is that you can do. At least our framing is going to be primarily towards the relationship at home. Okay?
Yeah, so even as we enter in and share these 5 best practices, our mindset is going to determine our outcome. So if you go into it and say, yeah, well, I sure hope he does rekindle my love, right? We're in a losing battle. So
I'll be your huckleberry.
He will be my huckleberry. But it's switching it and saying, I want to love my spouse. I want to lean in and experience my happily ever after. And I want to change some ways that I'm thinking. So this is going to require some intentionality, which brings us to the very first thing.
Well, I got to piggy off of what you said. What she's saying is so incredibly important too, especially as we come into any kind of conversation about improving our relationships and rekindling love. Is the only person that we can change is the person in the mirror. You know what I mean? I mean, you
good.
got to focus on yourself. As soon as I start focusing on you, babe, as soon as I start figuring out all the things that you need to change, that you're doing wrong, that you're doing to offend me, how I'm getting short end of the stick, I'm going to lose that battle every single time. Why? Because I'm defeating my own mind. I'm actually building a case for destroying my own relationship because all of the things that you might need to change are completely out of my control.
Right.
And I sure can't control you or
right.
anybody else for that matter. So somebody needed to hear that. I don't know who you were, but somebody needed to hear that. Maybe I just needed reminded. I don't know.
Well, it's good to remind ourselves, but it's starting with the desired outcome to have a happy, thriving, loving, amazing relationship. And I want more of that. So I want to lean into these practices and rekindle my love, even though my love for you is pretty good. I want it to be even more. And so the way that we can do that, the very first best practice or hack, I guess nowadays it's a hack.
Yeah, it's just called
It's
best
just
practice.
Yeah, all right. Plan for a deep, meaningful conversation. A deeper, more meaningful conversation.
I think just connection, you know.
I thought you wanted to say something, so I paused.
Well, you did, and so you left open space, so I jumped in. No, I think if I ponder this, love, you know, it's conversation and then it's connection.
So good.
And I think that, you know, what Julie's saying there is plan a time for greater connection. Right?
That's it.
For greater, deeper conversation. I think we can get so busy with all of the different, honestly unimportant things in life that if the crap really hit the fan,
Yep.
wouldn't really matter. We wouldn't be. In other words, if you were laying on your deathbed, most of the things that I think tend to preoccupy and busy our minds and even take up and consume a lot of our time on any given day, they're not as important as our relationships of the people around us. And I think that sometimes in order for us to have these deeper connections and these deeper conversations, we literally have to plan for them.
Yep.
We literally have to plan for them. When's the last time, let me ask you a question since you're watching. When's the last time you planned for
so good.
deeper connection with your spouse?
Right.
When's the last time you planned for deeper connection with the people that are most important and the things and the people that are most important in your life? I want to encourage you today to plan. Take just a little bit of time to think about what can I do to plan and carve out time that's very intentional to have a deeper connection with your spouse, with the people that are most important to you.
So here are a couple of things you can do. Set a quiet place, right? A time and a space that you're going to come together. The couple that I was talking to earlier this morning was, they want greater connection, but there's so much franticness, and they're like, well, maybe in 2 or 3 weeks, maybe in 4 weeks. And you know, the problem with 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks out, there's going to be something else that's rearing its ugly head in 2 weeks, 3
There's
weeks,
always
or 4 weeks.
something.
There's always something. So choose a quiet time and space.
That's why you have to plan, by the way. It's legitimately why you have to plan, because there's always going to be some big ugly up in your face. You know what I'm saying?
And then
Trying to distract you.
safeguard it.
Yep.
Guard that time ferociously. Make it to be the most important meeting. If you had a meeting with the president, if you had a meeting with a king or a queen, you certainly wouldn't change that meeting. If you had like a big client that you were going to gain $100,000 off if you just had this meeting, you wouldn't change that time. And when we think about the person that should matter the most, that does matter the most, set that time and then safeguard it. Don't allow anything to take it away. In that too, another great thing to do to be able to have those meaningful conversations, set your ground rules.
What you talking about?
In other words, like, we're going to be vulnerable. We're going to be future focused. We are not going to be like what you need to fix. I'm going to come with an attitude of what I need to do to live into this desired outcome.
Yeah.
All of those things are great ground rules. We're going to honor one another. We're not going to talk about our problems. We're going to dream together. We're going to talk about what we do want together, what we do agree on. So those are some of our ground rules.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned something there just a minute ago too. Like, we really do have to plan for these things. In other words, you have to manage for it. You know, you hear us talk sometimes that you'll talk about things you need to manage for and things you need to manage against. Things that you have to manage for are the things that if you don't manage for them, in other words, if you don't plan for them, they're going to get crowded out by all the busyness in life. So this is one of those things for deeper connection, deeper love, to rekindle your love, you know. Planning for some time. You know, we do this, we try to do this on a daily. It was funny, I'm going to tell on myself, because last night Julie ticked me off.
Oh no, I didn't know it. What did I do?
You did know it.
Okay.
You did know it, actually.
I forgot about it already.
Well, we were trying to come together as a family for some family time, us and
yeah.
our kids, and I don't remember. I think something had been going on with the kids in the backdrop that was unbeknownst to me.
Yeah.
But anyway, she came in and she was kind of ranting a little bit about, you know, shutting off the electronics so that we could just all be together as a family for a few minutes. And
I was trying to safeguard our family time.
you were. And so even though I was frustrated with her in that moment, I think the thing that we want to do when we plan for deeper connection is we want to kill the distractions. I won't use the words kill a lot unless we're talking about turkeys or deers or, you know, things of that nature. But we want to kill the distractions. What does that look like for you?
Right.
What does it look like to kind of part the seas, to stop the world from spinning for just a minute?
Stop the madness.
And plan some time to kill the distractions and be just focused on being together. And you know, I set my phone over on the counter last night. I didn't pay a bit of attention to it there for a couple of hours, and we spent some time together and as a family, and it was a good time. We ended up having a great conversation too. And so you talked about setting the ground rules. How about go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to get to that bottom bullet point on that. But.
Yeah, text us. I think it's 33777. Melissa, help me out. Married for a Purpose, whoever's running that today, help us out. What is the text number? Text us, I think it's 33777.
Post it up there so we can see it.
Type the word married, and we're going to send you a free 120 conversation starters so that you can have some intentional conversation, because here's the other thing that happens. Sometimes we can even set the time, but then we look at each other and it's like, well, what do we even want to talk about?
It happens to us sometimes. We just want to talk about work.
But yeah, we need to break up the monotony, not just in solving issues, right, or solving distractions, but of having those deeper, meaningful conversations. And so we have 120. Thank you. 33777. Type the word married to it. That'll allow you to have some different conversation starter points to have that deeper, meaningful conversation.
There's some date night ideas we'll fire out to you too. Yeah. And by the way, anybody who's watching right now, we would love it if you would just in the text below, why don't you put out one of your favorite date nights, one of your creative date nights. We're always looking for ways. We're going to be producing a new list that we've started compiling for creative date night ideas, things that are maybe inexpensive to do. You could put your wild expensive date night on there too, but would you please share any date night and creative date night and favorite date night ideas that you have so that we can share them with our community, and we'll give you credit for it too.
We will. We will.
All
Which
right.
brings us to number 2.
Number 2.
Yep. Not only do we want to plan a time for deeper, more intentional connection, but we want to plan to do something different. So the very date things that you were talking about.
Yeah.
In this time and as you go forward, what are some fun things that you can do together that is different than what you've done in the past? So maybe watch a film together, have a game night, cook for each other. We've done some cooking in the kitchen, did a great guacamole recipe for you all too.
Kissing in the kitchen,
Kissing
baby.
in the kitchen, right? But get together. You could do something just cornballish, like buy a hula hoop, right? And do a hula hoop night.
Okay, so look, I'm going to cash in that bet right there. I am going to buy a hula hoop.
Oh no!
And we're going to hula hoop.
All right, we'll hula hoop for you.
I think we should record that for these guys
All
because
right.
I'm just thinking that's going to be interesting. But I don't even know where that came from. Buy a hula hoop.
Well, and you can play truth or dare. You know, playing truth or dare was always fun.
I think the point is legitimately to get out of your comfort zone a little bit and try something different. We've got lots of friends around us here that are really good about inviting us to get out and about and to do different things. Check out some of your local parks. One of the devotionals that we have for couples in 2 are better than 1.
No, Married for a Purpose.
There you go. Married for a Purpose is the name of our devotional. I'm trying to catch up here. Anyway, in the devotional, Married for a Purpose is to live like a tourist and to think about what does it mean to live like a tourist. So as you're rekindling your love, think about what does it mean to live like a tourist. In other words, what do people from outside of your area come to your area to do. And have you done it? Have you visited the parks?
So
Have you
good.
visited the places that people come from other places to come and visit in your local community?
Right? So the quarantines are starting to be lifted in areas. What can you do that would be different than what you've done in the past? And living like a tourist is a great way just to keep that in front of us. We have at different times not visited some of the local attractions that people spend thousands of dollars to come to Southern Florida.
I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for years before I actually attended a
The
Derby race.
Yep.
That is insane. Even
Right.
if you're not into horse racing,
You
you
need
know
to
what
go,
I mean?
yeah, try the attraction.
Yeah, get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort
All
zone.
right,
and do
number
something.
3, another great way to rekindle your love. You want to give it away, love?
Dream forward.
Dream forward.
Dream forward.
What do you mean by dream forward?
Well, I think for us, what's really important is that helps us is to think beyond where we currently are. We talk a lot about vision, and I think sometimes in our marriage relationships we can get stuck in such a humdrum, you know, such a the same old all of the time. When's the last time that a week or a day in your life was intentionally looked really, really different? Right?
Right.
When's the last time that you thought beyond where you currently are right now? And I know many of you do this all the time. So again, I'm not trying to reprimand you or make you, feel bad. It's not about that. It's about planting a seed for vision of the future. Pick me up. Go.
Yeah, so here's some great questions. And I just want to read these. Maybe somebody can post them below so that way everybody can have them and we can look back at them. But what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Having those kind of conversations like, babe, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? And listening to the response of your spouse.
I want to encourage you as going back to number 1 for more deep, intentional conversation to spend like 15 to 30 minutes just being fun and exploring that idea of what you would do if you couldn't fail. Have you ever even thought about what you might do if you knew you couldn't fail? It's such a great question, and I think that God created us to operate in that space and to think about those kind of things. Go ahead.
Yep. No, that's good. I'm just looking at the next question that I wrote down, and that was some of the questions we like is what 1 or 2 things is on your bucket list? Right? So it's just an outside conversation that it's like, what would you like to do? Well, I wanted to go skydiving.
I started to say we got to cross off one of your bucket lists this year.
Yeah, and
that was definitely out of our comfort zone.
Yeah, and then you had to
push.
push me out of the plane because I almost didn't do it. But on my 50th birthday, as a family, we went skydiving, and what a great memory. So what's 1 or 2 things on your bucket list? Another way to dream forward is what future thoughts call out and inspire our potential as a couple.
Elaborate on that a little bit for me.
It's when you think about what brings both of you to life, what are those things that both of you start getting excited about? What is it that it's like, wow, we think about future projects like writing a book, and I love that process because it allows us to use our creative gifts. We're getting ready to do a parenting series. We're going to be doing a parenting series with another couple. And so all of those things, it begins to inspire this life. We're getting ready to do a certification where if you have a passion to impact couples, man, email us and let us know that, because we are actually starting our own certification to be able to help couples live married for a purpose with the other couples in their community.
Yeah, so inspired possibility. I think we need to remember again sometimes that God is for us, that He wants to bless us. Just like we want to bless our kids, He wants to bless you as well. And so as you're dreaming forward, thinking into possibilities, what are some possibilities that you guys could begin to hope and believe for? How can you again, because I think when we have hopes and beliefs and encouraging promises that we're leaning in toward together for our future, I think that helps us to be able to offer that for everybody else. Don't you want to be a beacon of hope? Don't you want to be a source of encouragement for people? And by the way, Get with some people that encourage you. We spent some time this morning with people who just encourage us, and
so
every
good.
time that
Yep.
we're with them, they just pour into us and just really, really encourage us. And you're like, already this morning? Yes, already this morning. And so I want to encourage you to, who are the ones that encourage you? And are you spending time with those people that encourage you and lift your spirits?
Yep. All right. So, number 4, we talk a lot about how when you can't change the way you feel, you need to change the way you think. And one of the ways that best partners with me is to do random acts of kindness for Greg. And what I mean by that,
I like it when you do that.
Right. Well, if you want to rekindle your love, if you're not feeling all ooey and gooey, why don't you try to do something ooey and gooey for your spouse to surprise them? Why not do some type of activity that stimulates some creativity that you know your spouse is going to appreciate? When you start doing those acts of random kindness for your spouse, those feelings of emotion are going to follow after. I think one of the lies that the enemy puts on us is that, well, I'm just not happy anymore. Well, then get happy.
Yeah, that's right. No,
And do
legitimately,
something,
yeah.
do something to make your spouse happy. Get out of the poor woe is me and how you're getting the short end of the stick, and start doing acts of random
Intentionally,
kindness
yes.
Whether anything's ever reciprocated, even if it's not received well, just do it because you are acting in love. And when you act and do your acts of service in love, God is going to bless it. And your heart and your mind will follow after. Those emotions that were dormant are going to start getting excited. We used to always feel like we were getting the short end of the stick. And now, today, because we've cultivated that habit of constantly trying to rekindle our love. And when we get in stinking thinking or some funky ways of living, man, we want to, this is one of the practices that we do, because when we do that, then our emotions follow after it.
Yeah,
Anything
they
you'd
do.
add?
Well, just an encouragement that whoever that's for, that you control your thoughts, right? And your thoughts will control your emotions to a large degree. Sometimes I just let my mind just run amok, and
Boy, you sure do.
and I have to get a hold of it. And so again,
Yeah,
it comes back to some of the
amen.
things we covered in one of the earlier lives, which is, replenishing your spirit with things that encourage you and kind of change your trajectory. Praise, thanksgiving, worship music
Amen.
for us.
Yep.
And then, of course, again, people that lift you up and encourage your spirit and speak life over you, which brings us to the 5th thing that you can...
Hey, real quick,
Better-
with that, sorry. Catch your spouse doing something right today.
Yeah.
Today, spend every waking moment trying to find them doing something right. Anything
Yes.
that you could possibly praise, anything that you could possibly admire, do that. And then now, number 5,
Speak life.
speak it.
Speak life and speak encouragement. Again, the Bible tells us that the power of life and death are in the tongue. Phew. I think it do us all well
Yeah.
to really stop and let that in for just a minute today. Power of life and death are in the tongue. In other words, our words have incredible
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
And when we're able to speak life over our spouse, when we're able to encourage them, when we're able to do the practice, what you just talked about, Julie, of when I catch you doing things right, and then I voice, hey, man, I really appreciate you doing this, or I appreciate that you did that, it costs me nothing to do that.
Right.
It costs me nothing. And guess what? It keeps my own mind and my own emotions focused in a more positive direction anyway. So it's a great best practice. It's simple, doesn't cost you a thing, and it makes a huge, huge difference. What would you add? Anything?
Nope, just when all else fails, start with number 1 all over again to rekindle that love. Be tenacious about pursuing. Don't allow the distractions of the world. There's always going to be another distraction. Ask yourself, what is the most important thing that I could possibly do today to honor my spouse, to honor my kids, to demonstrate God's unconditional love to them, to make Him known in our family,
In the 4 walls of our home.
in the 4 walls of our home. You do that, and you're going to rekindle love. And hey, I still think a hula hoop contest would be really fun too.
Oh boy, here we
We might
go.
have to do a hula hoop contest, and whoever can go hula hooping the longest, we give them a free Married for a Purpose membership.
Maybe
or
we could
something.
do that. Maybe we could do
There we
that. Hey,
go.
give us a like on Married for a Purpose if you've not done that yet. Facebook page, and feel free to go to our website at marriedforapurpose.com, and we've got
Peruse on, there's all kinds of fun.
yeah, there's lots of freebies on there for you to help keep you encouraged in your relationship. Make sure you text, what is it, 33777?
Text the word married to 33777. We'll be sure to send those 120 conversation starters out to you. And other than that, we would love to hear the number one thing that you took away from today that you want to implement in your marriage relationship. Julie Edgar saying hula hoop contest.
We got several of those. Anyway, hey,
All
we
right.
appreciate and love y'all. We'll catch you again on Friday morning, right?
Friday morning, and then starting next week, we're going to go to a Wednesday only. So you're going to want to make sure, be in for tomorrow, and then set your calendar every Wednesday going forward. All right, that's it. Anything else?
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.